is up, Bopper Gang? I got a special guest with us today. We have Phases,
Hello.
Hi.
2/3 of the band.
2/3.
You want to introduce yourselves?
My name's Mia, and I'm the singer.
I'm Grant. I'm the guitar player.
Hell yeah. So how did you guys meet?
Well, I mean, technically we met in high school. You were at Houston for just freshman year, and then you went to Collierville. But we met again. Her and a longtime friend just happened to go to a show at High Tone, and I was on the bill playing. Which is weird because weren't y'all like talking about me before y'all went or something? It's like a weird.
So he's leaving out a rather fun part of how we met. He slipped into my DMs, and then I blocked him.
Well, that was before though.
And then on the way to this show, like it was my first girls' night after like a rough breakup and me being a little recluse. And we were just talking about him because like he did music, and I don't even know how you were brought up. But yeah, we were talking about him. We were just making our way into High Tone, and he turns around like he saw a ghost and then goes, Mia. And I was just like, my bad.
Because like I recognized you, but I didn't recognize you, so I had to do a double take. But
High school does that.
yeah,
You know?
it just went on from there, really.
Nice. And how did you recruit your third?
We've
So
had quite a few thirds.
yeah, we've had quite a few thirds. Honestly, also slipped into our DMs and was just kind of like, hey, I drum. And I was just like, sick, come on. But that's pretty much it.
That's kind of rare. I heard Memphis has like a drummer shortage. Is that
it's a
true?
drought.
Yeah, we're feeling it.
For
Well,
sure.
I don't know about a shortage, but what we're looking for is someone who's not in, 3 or 4 different other bands. So that's kind of the main thing. But
Yeah, and it's like realistically now it's just like as a band, the only like real members are just me and Grant, and then everyone else is like a collaboration type of sitch. We're working on trying to figure that out a little bit more. But
yeah, it's hard to make all that work.
You're going through phases.
Exactly. Yeah, we aptly named.
Yeah. Speaking of though, how did you come up with that name? Because I'm a moon girly. I'm a Cancer.
Yes. I'm a little spooky. Halloween's my favorite, and I was just kind of like, okay, I like the moon idea. And we were trying to figure out ways to go around that. And for a minute there, I was kind of leaning on like a couple of different names, and then Phases clicked, and I was just kind of like, I like that because it doesn't force us into a genre. We can write songs about all different types of topics, and then it also just is an open-ended thing. It's kind of whatever the listener defines it as. So
And I kind of hate the word, but it already has like an aesthetic
Yeah.
attached to it. So there's already like stuff to use for a look and sort of a vibe thing
Yeah.
with it.
So if you could describe your music in 3 words, what would they be?
Personal. Sad. um mm, and uncategorized.
Emotional, meaningful, and incendiary.
Big word for Elmo.
Big word for Elmo.
That's amazing. Because we can get into phase 1, which is great. I was gonna ask you about like your songwriting process and how you guys work on those because they do like each story does feel so personal. And then you have like those little candid moments where y'all are like talking and it feels like a very personal story to each of you. So how do certain songs come up or how is that process for y'all?
Honestly, they write themselves. It's kind of I try to make sure that at least lyrically it's what the song wants. If something doesn't fit, I'm not going to force it. And I think that it's all based off kind of like intent, So it's like if the song is if it's more of like a ballad, I'm not going to force a solo or something along those lines in it. But it just very lyrically just writes itself, and it'll be like I'm going to bed and I wake up at 3 in the morning because I'm an insomniac. Then it'll just be like the next part, and then it's just like that. But that's at least for my part.
Yeah, I mean, I think we successfully collaborate on all the different portions of like, the song itself and like the process. But I think she focuses a lot on the impact and sort of the, I don't know, not just like the emotional, but like the energy shift that, certain types of music can have on people. And I focus on how to tie that in musically with, everything else besides the words and things like that. But the healthy collaboration is what really makes everything fit together.
Yeah, that's awesome. And how do you balance like because I mean, you get pretty vulnerable in like relationship talk and things like that on your songs. So how is that working with, a relationship and a partner while you're doing that?
Hmm. It's kind of like it can be weird just because it's like it's such a different thing and then it's like I know what I'm trying to say because I experienced it, but then I'm just like, so how do I not make it offensive? And just kind of just say it from my point of view. This is what it looked like to me. We'll leave it kind of open-ended and I think that it's just it's weird, but it's also not weird because we talk a lot about the experiences that go into writing the songs. So it's very very fluid by the point that it's even a song.
Hmm,
Yeah.
that's cool. So I read that you, well, maybe I'm assuming, but I feel like you really enjoy doing live shows and
Mhm.
like
Oh yeah.
the energy from the crowd and stuff like that. So what got y'all hooked on the live performing?
Honestly, so before Phases, there was our other band called Voodoo Rose, and we were performing live with like it was around I think it was like at its biggest a 5 piece.
Yeah. 5 piece.
And I've always really loved performing in general. I'm a theater kid. So it's like when it comes down to it, it's doing stuff like that. I've always loved doing it, but I like the interaction because whether or not a show goes good or bad is much less on me and more on like who's watching.
Mm,
Because it's like we've had shows where it's been like we are purely background music and we've had shows where people get really into it.
mm,
And I think that that's something that not enough people talk about because it really does it messes with your psyche when you're going through a show that genuinely feels like 4 hours
yeah.
versus a show that feels like 30 minutes,
Mhm.
just because of the people around you.
Yeah, the long shows can be tough sometimes, especially when the crowd isn't sort of bouncing back the energy that you're trying to push out there, but it's still fun. And I've been performing since I was 14, something like that. So I don't know. I just like being up there. It's just fun. Whether the people that are hearing it are like reacting the way I'd like them to, it doesn't matter.
Mm. So y'all both have done music for a while then.
I started music because really because he was in a band and I was just like, "Oh, okay, so I could actually do this." At the time I was a tattoo apprentice and I was just kind of like, "Okay, you know what? I'll try it and see what happens." And then he left that band, joined mine, and then things just kind of sprouted from there, but it's more of like I've always liked it and I've always like it was kind of one of those things where it was like, "It's my dream, but let's be an adult about it."
Mm.
But now it's like now I've seen that like it can really be a career. So I've committed a lot more to it from that. But I don't think I would have done it if he wasn't already doing it, to be
Aw,
honest.
that's sweet.
Yeah. I mean, you had been singing before too, but you hadn't looked at it at this level. Yeah. But I've always wanted to do this since I like started. I was like, this is cool. I got to keep doing this. Everything else sucks. And it kind of does. But, you know,
So what is it like being a part of the Memphis music scene? Like, do you feel tied to it? Do you feel like that benefits you, or do you feel like it's harder to stand out with the amount of people?
That's a hard question to answer because the Memphis music scene has been something that we've tried to break into, where it's been like, if anything, if I'm being 100% honest, like we've kind of had to pave our own way outside of it, where it's been kind of a lot of pushback and not as much of a welcoming community. Where, like, as a band, we're trying to build more of a collaborative, I mean, it's essentially it's a work environment, like we're all working together and we all have invested interest in each other's success. But it's like just because of it, it's been harder to get into the Memphis music scene because there are people that have been sitting on the pedestal for so long.
Mm.
There's not a revolving door that's always open for whoever wants to be a part of it. So I think that, like, realistically, we're kind of in our own little corner of the world, and the people that find us are the people that find us, but it's been kind of disheartening trying to build a community outside of it.
I think what's really hard is finding people that are as dedicated as we are, or at the level of dedication that we would, expect a band member to be. It's hard to find those people that aren't already in a position of power where they can tell you no and it doesn't affect them at all. So, um, and not to say like the people that aren't, I mean, there are people in the music scene that don't want this to be a career and they just want to have fun, and that's
Yeah.
fine. Um, to each their own, but it's just hard finding the people that want something more. And I think that's been a struggle for
Yeah.
sure.
For sure.
Yeah. Especially when you're younger. I mean, y'all are pretty young, right?
Yeah.
22.
I
Yeah.
mean, no
Yeah.
one no one really knows what they want yet.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Yeah, I'll
It's
talk to I'll talk to venues about booking us all the time. They're just like, "Get a bass player." And I was like, "Find a 22-year-old that's actually dedicated and what they want to do it for the rest of their lives. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Good luck. I've been looking."
that doesn't have to be at school every single day.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like, and just because, we have that stuff figured out, it's not an expectation that someone else does.
Right.
So it's like that's more of why I'm saying that, like, I do want to open the door to more collaborative work, but I
Mhm.
also don't want to force someone to be a part of something.
Right.
Just because life is always changing, just because we've got a pretty convenient thing going on here because we live together
Yeah.
and it's I can't expect someone else to drop everything to show up for that.
Yeah.
But that's also the level of commitment that's required to make something like this consistently successful.
Absolutely.
So it's just trying to be mindful that, just because we look like we've got it figured out, no.
Yeah. And since this is BitchBopz, we got to talk about being female fronted. Have you done music independently, like just as yourself?
I've done independent gigs, but I've never done music independently.
Mm.
Not like original music.
Yeah, no.
Mm. Do you feel like, or have you been taken seriously? Okay.
Oh, she'll go off with this one.
No.
Let's get into it.
um, no, I got to the point to where I had to sit my dad down and be like, I need you at every single gig because if I get disrespected one more time, that's all I got. And then it's like, I hate that there is no being nice for a woman at all in this industry. It's either you are a bitch and you get taken seriously enough to where they don't really want to work with you, but you're good at what you do,
They're scared of you.
or you're too nice and then they take it as flirting and then you just have a really weird working relationship with people. And then it's just like, because me at my core, I'm a rather nice person and I'm nothing but inviting and I want to be friends with everyone. Do you want to be my friend? Do you want to use me? Or do you want to fuck?
Mm.
And that's like the three categories, and it's just like, it's always kind of a toss up because it's like if I'm too nice to a venue, I mean, if you are a woman owned business venue or any of that, I am 100% more likely to want to work with you because I don't have to really second guess with you because us women are pretty damn straightforward. If we like you, we like you. If we don't, we don't, and I'd like to think that especially in a business setting, we are more prone to keeping it professional. Where it's like I've been taken advantage of too many times to where it's like there are venues that like we used to book up and it was never truthfully as transactional as it should have been in a business manner. Where it was just like, okay, so you could say creepy side things to me and about me, and I just have to sit here and smile because you're paying me $200 at a gig that took us a month to learn, and it's unfair. And then when I try to place the boundaries, they're not respected, or it's an insult. And it's like, where it's like, I personally love the reply. I guess I'll just keep it professional from now on. And it's just like, oh, was that not the expectation? Was it not the expectation?
Well, and circling back to the transactional thing, I feel like just you being female, like, adds a mountain of reasons why you are, like, pushed to be more like that.
Mhm.
Is because if you're too friendly, if you're just, like, too cool with somebody, they can view that as an invitation, and then it's like something happens, an uncomfortable situation or whatever, and then that jeopardizes what we're trying to do as a band, that jeopardizes what they're trying to do as a venue. It's not good for anybody, so
Yeah.
it shouldn't be that way, but it is, so it's something that we have to deal with, but
And yeah, I think that
we gotta push back on it. We won't just let it
yeah,
happen. It's
I
not
think
cool.
I think that that's another struggle, is that transactionally I have to look at it as, okay, so you're being creepy. I have two options. I report and I make it a big deal, or I do nothing and just hope that it goes away. And I think that as women, we are, more likely to think about doing the first one until it becomes a face to face interaction. And then it's like, I'm just going to sit there and I'm going to be quiet, because this puts me in a compromising position where I might have to defend myself.
Mhm.
And when it comes down to something like that, it's just, I try to think about, what's best for the band. I know that me as a person, I hate it, because it's like, I felt a lot of pressure when getting into the band. I went through a rather dramatic weight loss, and before the weight loss, I was not hit on like that. I never had that weird thing with people. I was just the approachable chick in a band. And then it became oh, now you're the hot chick in the band. And then it did the cross before I even knew what happened. So all of a sudden, nice conversations I was having with people turned into extremely flirty conversations. And then I had to just kind of be like, my boyfriend that's on stage with me that I never do anything without.
Hi.
Hi, he's here, and that's not cool.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I shouldn't have to place that boundary. It should be already understood that, as a venue, we are essentially, we're private contractors.
Mhm.
You hire us to provide entertainment. You
Yeah.
don't hire me to talk to you. You
Right.
know what I mean? It's just, you gotta have that professional boundary of where, I'm here to do a job and you're disrupting my job by abusing the power that you
Mm.
have over me.
Yeah.
And that's not cool. And I've had to get pretty nasty with some people, as far as demanding the respect that I deserve.
Mm.
And it's pretty bad, to the point to where I had to go up to the boys and just be like, I'm not allowed to walk around a venue by myself anymore.
Yeah.
At all. Because it doesn't matter how approachable I want to be or anything like that. It's all taken sideways just because of how I look. And the girls, it depends on the girls. And it's just like, I hate that verdict, because I didn't have to deal with that when for lack thicker. We'll
Mm.
say thicker.
Stop being so hot. You're ruining everything.
My bad.
No, but that is a great point, and I did wanna bring that up, is, like, I feel like a lot of the time, mainly men, but I think some women do it too, of like, "Oh, pretty privilege," and, like, because you are hot or attractive, you get more deals or you get more visibility, and honestly, I think, especially when it comes to music or when it comes to any
Mhm.
male-dominated field, it's almost a disadvantage, because I feel like you're not taken as seriously, or you're just getting booked or whatever for looks, and then it's like, "Well, but that's not what I'm here for."
110%. And it's like that.
Yeah, I mean, you can get benefits and opportunities and stuff like that, but you're gonna have to deal with kind of weird people that make you feel kind of weird,
And
and that's
yeah.
it's not worth it.
And I'm one of the only people that I know of that can comment on it, because it's like, I went from weighing 220 pounds to weighing around 140. And then I watched it change. And it was like, all of a sudden, when I was bigger, I had a hard time being respected by men, but it wasn't because they wanted me. It was just because I was a woman.
Mhm.
And then it came to being like, I mean, I don't think that I was ugly or anything, but like I became the basic male gaze
For
thing.
sure.
And when that shift happened, it just became extremely clear that like I went from being taken at least somewhat seriously to never having a hope of being taken seriously. And then it was, I don't know, it just came down to like extremely, extremely hard conversations with people because it was just like, I want to continue to work with you and I don't want to be a pain, but I won't take you sexually harassing me
Mm,
to do that. So,
absolutely.
yeah, that sucks.
Well, I'm proud of you and your journey
Thank
and for
you.
being so brave and hot.
I try so hard.
But let's talk about community because I that was something that we talked about on Instagram before, because that's a big thing for me, and you talked about how music is a big sense of community for you.
Mhm.
So what does that look like for y'all with your band and your music?
I wanna well, more of it is just that, like, I wanna continue to build a community where we're truthfully inclusive, where I think that's something that has been really hard to deal with is just, merely existing. I want people with all types of opinions, and then it's like, without getting too touchy on it, it's just like, I want just people to be able to love each other, and that's okay. Let's come together, make some great music. And even if you're not making great music, say you're a poet and you just want to work on some songs, you want to learn how to transfer that, or you have nothing to do with music and you just want to sit there. Like I don't necessarily think that it has to be that. You're just someone that enjoys it. Like I think that we as Memphis as a whole, the Memphis surrounding it, the Memphis metro, I think that like we have a huge problem with gatekeeping, pushing out people that don't 100% align with you. And then it's,
Or it can't give you anything.
if you can't give them what they want, and it's just like, again, at the core, we're all humans. What you think isn't wrong, and it's just like, I'm of the vein of like, can't we all just love each other and move on? Like, music is a space where we are allowed to be, opinionated and truthful as to who we are and all those other things. But there are people too scared to even comment
Mhm.
on anything. And then it's just like, I hate that for us as a community. And it's like, and I mean, there are people in Memphis that do that and that extremely gatekeep. And it doesn't matter how big your following is or anything like that. I personally don't care. Honestly, I write songs for little me because if I had that song that I could have related to, I probably wouldn't have felt nearly as alone.
Mm.
I want to build a community where everyone is just respected and appreciated, not for what they can give you, but for who they are.
Mm. What are or who are some of your musical inspirations?
Ooh.
Amy Winehouse, for sure, for sure. She has my whole heart. I love right now. Oh my God, Sam Smith. I love Sam Smith. I'm trying to get more into listening to more music in general because I think that like I start writing songs and then I'll hear songs on the radio and be like, oh, it sounds like that. It's just like, dang it, it's not 100% original. But I think that like my main one's totally Amy Winehouse, and it just I get compared the most to Billie Eilish, which I've never truthfully understood. But I think it's the blue eyes and shit. I sing. Every female that sings, you hear it. But it's like, I think she's got some really good music out there as well. I think her name's Ray, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Ray,
Yeah.
love her, love her. I like anyone with I love Nina Simone as well. I like any soulful anything. If I can't hear how you feel by listening to it, I think that that's something that a lot of people can struggle with is being able to feel it, but it's like if I'm not getting goosebumps from you, it's like it's hard for me to stay attentive.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the same thing. Just anything that makes me feel a certain way, something that like hits a certain part of your soul, I guess, that just it can change your mood, it can change your energy. I don't know. Just I like stuff that I can be feeling one way, and then as soon as a melody or something gets into my head, it like completely what comes out is something different, and I just like stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
Passion.
Yeah. So I think you said you were remastering phase
Mhm.
one?
Yes. Something about phase 1 that I don't think we've talked about enough publicly is that, like, we were extremely rushed on phase 1 when it came down to, we had someone that was trying to mentor us, and they were like, "You need to put out this EP in, like, a month,"
I blame that guy.
yeah.
No names, but
No names, that guy is to blame, wholeheartedly. So I sat down with my ukulele and wrote some of these songs in a weekend without actually, like, I mean, it took work, but it was like it wasn't as it wasn't as deep. It didn't do what I want it to do. And I think that a lot of these songs had a lot more potential and they just kind of got nipped in the bud. And so it's like certain songs I've taken and so I have like it's not synesthesia, it's whatever it is when you hear a sound and then it's like, "Oh, yep, that's the entire song now."
Mm.
And I completely I guess the term is reorchestrated, bleed. The music behind it, I think Lucy was never it never carried the swing that I wanted it to, and I think that we finally harnessed that and
I think the biggest thing with like we continued working on the songs once we recorded and released that because I mean we've been playing them live for
almost a year.
yeah nearly a year since we released it, but I feel like at the time we put so much pressure and put a deadline on ourselves that we couldn't fully get that collaboration in to where both of those parts, like I was saying earlier, like really fit together. But over time, just playing and working it out and getting it to where we want it to be, I think it's now a lot better. And one thing I don't like about it, like as the producer and engineer, the production is terrible. But what we've been working on so far sounds fantastic, so I'm really excited to get that stuff out.
And we're gonna re-release the EP as singles going down the line because I think that not only is it gonna be I feel like it'll be more appreciated because I think that each song has taken such a life of its own. I don't think that they should be in a cluster.
Mm.
And I don't think I mean, of course, you can listen to them back to back. I wouldn't be mad, but it's like I think that, like, they're so different that they need to be appreciated individually instead of put together in a stack like that. Because I think that, like, the EP, I was worried about, like, a theme and having them flow together without them sounding like one of them sticks out like a sore thumb, you know? And I think that, like, it was just a very very rushed process that didn't have a whole lot of heart in it at the end of the day. I think that the only song that came out the way that I wanted it to was Time, and that's because we'd been working and writing on that one since, like, June.
Yeah, it was a
I
while.
think
I
that one
mean,
was the song.
I think it turned into a product instead of a project,
Mm.
and that's what it should be is a project. But going back to the singles thing, I feel like it's harder to put out one big piece of media now because with social media and things like that, you have to it's like the consistency thing.
Mhm.
So the amount of work that we're putting into it, I think it'll be not only appreciated more, but more digestible if it's a little bit at a time. And that allows us to kind of form it into exactly what we want it to be.
Yeah. What advice do y'all have for any new artist that's just getting started or that wants to pursue music?
Just do it. Don't worry about what other people think.
Just
Don't
do it.
don't worry about what you look like. Don't worry about what you sound like. If you're not happy with where you are, you'll be completely different a month from now. Just get out there and do it. The longer you sit back and wish you could do it, the longer, you're just going to be stuck there. So just get out there and do it and find some people that want to do it too.
Get yourself as much experience as you can because I think that making an having the education to back up the way you feel about certain things when it comes to music, I think is very important. And for that, you need to meet as many people as possible, put yourself in 100 different gigging situations, and write with as many people as possible, because being creative is truthfully a collaboration. When you think about the songs that you grew up listening to as a kid, you're going to see the echoes of those songs come out in your own music. Not because you mean to, but that's just because it's the building blocks. And also just be you and don't lose that. Because I think that morale is something that can really be hard to hang on to once you feel like it's all about the work and not about why you're doing it.
For sure.
And always look for inspiration and opportunities, because you never know what's under that rock. Just turn it over.
Be inspired and not threatened.
Yeah, and just be you. Just remember what it's about. It's just about passion and that you like doing it. And no one can really take that away from you. The only thing that can happen is you can take that away from yourself.
Ooh.
So don't let people do that to you.
And learn to be comfortable with your experience being your experience, and quit comparing yourself to 100 other people, because your success is not going to be their success, and vice versa. And that can be something that can either destroy friendships or help you maintain them.
Yeah, music is such a deep rooted thing that it's I mean, it's like your fingerprint, your experiences and your opportunities and what you can and can't do. It's completely unique to you, and you can only add on to what you've already got.
Comparison is truthfully the death of creativity.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, thanks for being here.
Yeah, this was fun.
Thank you
This
for
was so
having
fun.
us.
Yeah. Where can the people find you and stream your music?
You can find us on Spotify. I think it's just Phases Band. All of our stuff is in the link on our Instagram, and I think that's Phases_band.
Yes.
Yeah. And everything else is found on
Instagram,
the-
Facebook,
Yeah.
YouTube, all streaming platforms. So, and we'll be putting out more shit lately, soon.
Eventually.
Eventually. That's the word I'm looking for.
For sure.
Yay. All right, Bopper Gang, we're outie.
Bye, everybody.